No, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of. This one turned. I sensed a lot of people. I don't want to say we're done with Draymond, but some people were done with Draymond. And guys, I got news for you. He just signed a 4-year, $100 million deal. Yeah. He's not in the last year of a contract.
Yeah, Day ain't leaving anytime soon.
No.
Unless he wants to retire, Murph, of course,
and walk away from that money.
He ain't doing that.
So I've had a complex relationship with Draymond Green. There was a time I said he was my all-time favorite Warrior. Rick Barry, Bernard King, World B. Free, Chris Mullin. I still chose Draymond. I just loved the way he played. I would tell my kids in CYO and in youth basketball in 2012, 13, 14, play like Draymond. Play like him.
Yeah, you still sending those same messages?
You cannot say that anymore.
No.
You cannot say that. You just heard that broadcaster say, nice message for the kids. So a positive message for the kids, Waterboy.
Now, where is your overall love and passion for Draymond Green currently then?
It's complex. That's what I was getting to here. And that is, I'm definitely willing to welcome him back with open arms. I am.
Of course.
There's just too much good. Freaking 4 championships, guys. That's a big deal. That's a gigantic deal. And he's one of their best players, and he's their best defensive player. And I am not happy with the behavior. I was very upset to Gobert. Remember, we talked about it on the show. I was like, bro, what's going on? That was a little much. And then the Nurkic is like, bro, what is going on here? He even had the one with that we don't even talk about with the Donovan Mitchell, where he got double teed, and that's when he sent out the tweet, right back at it like an addict.
Yeah, your favorite tweet.
So he literally wrote in November, right back at it like an addict.
And guess what? He got back to it.
And so, but now it's January 10. And you're talking about a guy, now you're going to change. You're going to change that much from right back at it like an addict to January 10?
You sure about that?
Well, that's where we're at, guys. That's where we're at.
I don't know.
Let's get into what he had to say today. Guys, let's jump down, Tony, to cut F, as in Fred, because it's the part about the antics and the leopard. Here he is addressing it.
I've always said before, I know how to be me a lot better than I can be anyone else. But in saying that, can I accept the fact that my antics has been over the top? Of course. Can I remove those? Am I capable of removing those? Of course.
Okay, he says he can. Actually, the prior cut was what I was looking for, cut E, as in Edgar here, on the antics and the leopard. Here it is.
I'm very confident I can remove the antics. And I'm very confident if I do remove the antics, no one's worried about how I play the game of basketball. You know, nobody's worried about how I carry myself in the game of basketball, but it's the antics. And so that's my focus. You know, it's not on changing who I am completely. Like, you don't change the spots on the leopard. Like, it's just not going to happen. And I'm not going to try to set some unrealistic expectation of, like, who's this person going to be? Like, it's not real, and that's not sustainable.
Okay, so here it is. 808, here, the big hit. Can a person change? 808 came. Let's go existential. Can a person change? Marcus, have you changed, my friend?
People can change, but the bigger question is, do people want to change? And I think that's the question with Draymond Green. Can he change? The answer is yes. Does he want to change? I don't think he does, because he's talking about these antics. These are the same antics that cost the Warriors their 5th NBA title, going back to when he hit LeBron in the no-no area.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen these antics for years and years and years. So my bigger question is, what's the motivation for Draymond to change? He's already got 4 NBA titles, just got a $100 million 4-year extension this offseason, got Jordan Poole off the roster. Like, what's the motivation? What's going to make Draymond Green want to change at this point of his career?
Well, he's trying to win a championship. He's trying to be a great teammate. He's trying to earn his contract. There's motivation for sure. I mean, doesn't he want to be a champion again? Doesn't he want to win basketball games?
True, but he's also already checked those boxes.
Well, no, he's got to win more. I always want more, buddy. Tom Brady checked a lot of boxes.
I guess you're right. It comes down to Draymond Green's legacy, but when he keeps on piling up these antics and antics and antics, I definitely think that his legacy, big picture overall, has taken a hit over the last couple of months.
Without question. So my question is, can he change? And the answer is we only will. It's not, I don't think it's that big of an ask for him to change. I'm going to tell a really stupid story, but this is what I do. And it's so stupid, but I'm telling it, hopefully somebody get a small chuckle out of this, all right?
All right.
So I do a lot of youth sports coaching, right? And hopefully there's people out there can relate to this. And there's this one ref, bro, who just doesn't dig your boy.
Oh, you've got your own personal Scott Foster?
By the way, the feeling is mutual. Like, we're talking, dude, those crazy 6th grade, 5th grade, 4th grade. It shouldn't even matter. But there's, like, legit beef. This is hilarious. I told you it's hilarious, right? I'm not trying to say this is serious. But the point of the matter is, he walked into the gym yesterday, okay? And I knew that, I was like, oh, boy. And parents know, and everybody knows. They're like, oh, it's on, it's on, it's on. So this is small. So I promised myself, don't fall for it. Don't do it. And I behaved.
So if Murph can do it, Draymond can do it.
That's the story.
That's the big picture message we're sending.
I told you.
If Murph can change, Draymond can change.
I told you it's stupid, but hopefully she got a chuckle out of it. I just sent you something, Tony, that speaks to that, right? Okay, not yet. All right, let's go to the phones. Redwood Forest and Redwood City. I kind of like that. Redwood Forest in Redwood City. Hey, Redwood Forest, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm tired of these antics. In my opinion, because I've been watching the Warriors since they played in the Cal Palace. Draymond Green either has to play mean, but play clean, go away. He used to be quite an asset. He's becoming a liability. And you have to ask the commissioner of basketball, get advice from him to stay in the league and not quit. You lost your heart. So it's time to become an asset, stop being a liability, or take his asset and go away.
I got you, Redwood Forest. I hear you, buddy. I hear you. I can't argue anything you're saying. The guy's on thin ice. He really is. And I appreciate the call, man. And that's how I'm feeling. I'm telling you, a lot of fans. I mean, I don't want to say Draymond's on Farhan level, but
not yet.
Well, guys, if we're looking for, I told you, like I had, we're talking about change. 808 KMBR, existential, can a person change? Mm-hmm. I believe none other than Sylvester Stallone took to the celluloid big screen and told us this.
If I can change,
Я думаю, что каждый тоже изменился сегодня.
and you can change,
Вы можете измениться.
everybody can change.
Каждый может измениться.
Did you see Rocky IV?
No, I did not.
You didn't?
I
Dude.
skipped Rocky IV.
Oh, Rocky IV was Ivan Drago, and the big deal was it was a Cold War. It was the U.S. against the Soviet Union, and we're going to blow each other up. We're going to drop nuclear bombs. But they came to a peaceful resolution at the end, and that he learned to appreciate the Russian, and the Russian learned to appreciate him in this classic speech.
If I can change,
Translator.
Я думаю, что каждый тоже
Because
изменится.
this is in
and you
Moscow.
can change,
Вы можете измениться.
everybody can change.
Каждый может измениться.
I think literally they should play that for Draymond before he comes back on the big screen at Chase. Everybody could change. So, hey, if Rocky says it's true, then it's got to be true, right?
Yeah, I guess
but
so, Murph.
unlike Redwood Forest,
Everybody can
I'm
change.
telling you, I got to tell you guys, as a Rocky head, and I am a Rocky head, like, dude, Creed, I was crying like a baby in the final scene when Creed walks him up the steps of the art museum. I was just like, dude. But dude, even Rocky IV, I was like, bro, no, this ain't happening. Rocky IV was terrible. And when it came to that final scene, I was like, dude, come on, that's the cheesiest line in Rocky history. And yet here I am, all these years later, asking young Tony to say, hey, Draymond, everybody.
Everybody can change.
Very good, Tony.
There it is.
So,
Get that message to Raymond Ritter. Have it on the big screen tonight.
Steve and Hayward is next up at the big hit 808 KMBR. Steve, good morning. You're on KMBR, man.
Murph, Markus, you guys are the bomb. I listen to you guys every morning when I'm shoeing horses.
Shoeing horses, nice.
Anyway,
all right.
Yeah, I'm a horse shoer. Anyway, I knew Sam Spear and the whole crew. Anyway, I just want to ask you a question. Bill Laimbeer was a dirty player, one of the worst. And you had Dennis Rodman. I mean, it goes on and on. There's so many guys out there that were dirty players. And I'm asking you and Murph and Markus, I'm asking, Draymond is a really smart man. His intelligence is amazing with the game. And I'm asking you guys, I wonder if Draymond has thought, or the team, that he could use this to his advantage, and if he could mind and keep his brain intact, that other players may try to egg him on, and perhaps could get other players ejected and work to the advantage of the Warriors. That's my question, and I'll take it off the air. And listen, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much, man.
I appreciate it, Steve. Keep shoeing those horses, by the way.
Oh, hell yeah. And anybody who's a friend of Sam Spear is a friend of ours,
Double
Murph.
tap to the heart, point to the sky forever. So I'm sorry, would I hear his question correctly? He say that opponents are going to try to egg Draymond on. Is that right?
Yeah, but they've already been doing that to Draymond.
Is that what the question was? I mean, you know they will. You know it. I mean, that's going to be on the grease board. Hey, run Steph off the three-point line. Drive the ball at Dario Saric and poke the bear.
Like if
I'm
any NBA player coming into Chase Center to play the Warriors, I'm putting on my best Max Crosby impersonation.
Yeah.
Like the way that Max Crosby rattles quarterbacks and punches Patrick Mahomes and pulls on their sleeves and stuff like that. That's what I'm doing to Draymond
and
Green.
I think that, quite frankly, that's within the bound. Gamesmanship is part of the deal.
That's fair game.
Shimmy in Redwood City. Shimmy, good morning. You're on KMBR.
Listen to you every morning. Hey, my thing is with Draymond, the antics. Yeah, maybe even if he changes those, the other thing he has to change is the way he's been playing the game lately this year. All the turnovers, and the thing that nobody seems to talk about that I don't like is that I feel like as soon as he steps on the court, the refs are going against us so much harder with the fouls and everything else, and it just hurts everybody else. So he's going to have to not just change that in his play, but how the refs impact the game when he's on the court. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. So you're saying, it's funny when the Warriors, and thanks for the call, Shimmy. I appreciate it, man. The Warriors, when he's on the court, they're still a 500 team. But there's no denying that they are a better defensive team when he's on the court. So I understand Shimmy's saying he's not playing maybe at his peak level here. I'm looking at his stats. His player efficiency rating right now is 14.9. The league average is 15. So he's playing average basketball in his career. But the bottom line is, you're asking me, do you want him back or you want him back 1,000%. Is he going to play better? That's what we're going to see.
He makes the team better, whether it's what he's able to do defensively. I mean, we're talking about a guy that was runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year last year, and then look how stagnant the offense has looked just in the last game without both Draymond and Chris Paul. They need a facilitator on offense. But to Shimmy's point, it's already a big emphasis that the Warriors, Draymond Green, and even Steve Kerr talked about yesterday, they want to keep Draymond Green away from the referees because he's always talking all game long, whether it's the players or a lot of times of the refs. If you just cut down those conversations, then you cut down the technicals, then you cut down the flagrants, then hopefully that is a part of the solution for Draymond.
So I'm going to his advanced metrics. If you go by the offensive rating and defensive rating, which people use, offensively, he's having his best year. He's at 121. Defensively, he's actually having his worst.
I was going to say, offensively, he was actually having one of his better years shooting from behind the three-point line.
But actually, to the point of Shimmy, defensive rating is the worst of his career right now. But that, again, this is early days. Yeah,
exactly. I also saw the Warriors square up against Nikola Jokic, and I would prefer to have Draymond Green on the court for that.
Let's go out to John in San Rafael. Good old San Rafael. John, good morning. How are you, man?
Good morning, fellas. Thanks for the call. I'd have to reflect on Draymond. He's kind of a clown, but he's our clown. And the antics, he just turned this whole thing into kind of this self-serving, woe is me, right? I went to Adam Silver, and I almost retired. I cried with Kerr, and then he turns KD kind of into the enemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
How could he say that about me? And it just strikes me, as a great word for it, sophomoric, right? It's just sophomoric.
John, I hear you, buddy, and thanks for the call. And so count you among the many who are running. Your patience is running low, and it maybe is done. Guys, we still remember the famous incident where Steve Kerr was caught on film saying, "I'm so sick of Draymond's S."
Yeah.
Right? So, listen, sports history is littered with, players and personality. Dude, can I introduce you to a left fielder from Sarah High School who hit 762 home runs? I mean, dude, that's a guy. People walked in the locker room. They didn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He performed. But Draymond right now, in a chemistry game like basketball, yeah, he's got a lot of proving to do, man.
But that's always been the thing. It's never seemed like, well, I should maybe walk that back a little bit because there were chemistry issues with him and Jordan Poole. But overall, with the core three, with the main guys, with Andre Iguodala, there's never been a chemistry issue on the team outside of the Jordan Poole incident, which I know is pretty glaring. But we're talking about Draymond Green like he's some type of evil person, like he's a bad guy. He needs to go to therapy. No, he had a couple incidents on the court where he melts down. Now, he's done his time in and time again, but I don't think this makes Draymond Green a bad person.
No.
And to our caller's point,
he has impulse control. He's a temper problem.
Yeah,
an
exactly.
anger management problem.
But that's also what makes Draymond Green the type of player that he is. It's in his DNA.
But
and our caller referred to him as a clown, like he's our clown. He's the perfect type of player that you want on your team and the player that you hate playing against.
What is interesting, though, is his public approval rating with Warriors fans, in my estimation, is an all-time low right now. Gary in Placerville, up in Placerville, old Hangtown. Gary, what's up, man? How are you?
I hang with you every morning.
What's up, Gary? What do you got?
Hey, I was a facilitator at Men Against Men's Violence in Santa Fe, a division of the Men of Women's Services. And Draymond Green, to me, I think I could help him because he's a classic case of learning that expectation of dominance over other people at a very early age and expecting services from them and expecting them to do what he wants, which is a different thing than competition versus being controlling. And if he learned to change his controlling behavior to competitive behavior, he'd be better off.
Gary, it sounds like you got some experience there, man. Well, Gary, here's my thing. Theoretically, the counseling that he just underwent hopefully addressed the kind of stuff that you're saying right now. Like he theoretically went to now, in your experience, Gary, can that happen in a short time, like 3 weeks or a month?
It took me a year.
Okay, yeah.
And most of the men that went through the program went through it for a year.
Yeah.
Court mandated 6 months.
See, it might be too soon. But Gary, I like the call, man. I appreciate it. We got to get to some more. But thanks for that. I mean, that's serious talk. That's like serious counseling talk right there. Like, and that's, if anybody's been through anger management, or we've had some people on the text line say they've been through it. They say it's hard. It's hard, man. It's hard to change. So,
and it comes down to the person buying in. That's the key.
Gary, thanks, Gary, for the call. Appreciate it. Draymond had an interesting quote. I don't think we've had this one yet, but he said one of the things he noticed was that when he was not going to basketball practice, he wasn't as stressed out. He said, this job is more stressful than people think. Interesting. So maybe as he's getting older, he's getting more stressed. Some people, as they get older, they mellow. Maybe it's wearing on him more. I don't know. Just something to think about. He mentioned it. Let's go to Connor in Dublin. So that's the second time this week, Connor. I always notice it because Irish first name, Irish city. Connor, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What's up, man?
Hey, so I'm going to go really out on this. I'm going to get real philosophical. I'm just thinking, I think Draymond Green is preventing himself from changing. I think his mindset on life is questionable in a sense that, I think he plays basketball for the wrong and right reasons. And I think he really just, I think he needs to just learn how to, compensate for, just those factors outside of, people saying things, and he needs to just learn how to calm down.
Yeah, I hear you, Connor. He does.
Breathing exercises.
Breathing exercises sound good to me. Connor, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, breathing exercises. What were you ever doing?
Oh, yeah, you got to go deep in your breathing exercises.
See J.J. McCarthy meditate before a college football championship. Maybe Draymond should start doing that.
Murph, we saw last year it wasn't working out for the San Francisco Giants. Their pregame meditation circles.
And all the barefoot stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's the barefoot stuff, and then there's can you hit the ball over the fence?
Oh, we got jogging barefoot out in Coors Field, hanging out in the mountains and the trees.
I'm walking barefoot, but I went 0 for 4. Is it called Row in San Diego? I love San Diego. We got calls from San Diego, America's finest city. Row, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Murph. I just wanted to comment on the fact that I went through the same thing. I'm Indiana alum, so welcome to the Big Ten. But the same thing happened with Bob Knight. When he choked out Neil Reed, the university put him on that zero tolerance policy. So basically, anything that happened to him, any kind of transgression that he went through during that zero tolerance policy, he was going to get fired. So you would think that given that he would lose that kind of a high-profile job, he would temper his action. And he couldn't do it. And all it took was somebody just going, hey, Knight. And then he flipped his lid and he was fired, 6 months later. So I'm saying how I relate that to Draymond, I don't think it's going to happen. I think somebody's going to say something. Rudy's going to pop off something short and easy, and then it's just going to happen all over again, and we're going to be wondering what's next.
Ro, that's a pretty good call, and you're coming from a place where you saw it happen with Bobby Knight. It's a true story. With Bobby Knight, though, it was more like the game, like the generations changed in his style, which worked in the 70s and 80s. Like, he was abusive in the 70s and 80s, just nobody made a big deal about it. And then the 90s came and things started to change, and he was like, I'm not changing. So that was more of, I think, a generational thing, whereas Draymond's is sort of more just, I got to just control it on the court. But, Ro, thanks for the call, and thanks for the welcome to the Big Ten, too. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but we've heard that, I'm not going to say argument, but we've seen that perspective before from guys like Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. Like, Shaq's defended Draymond before, like, oh, yeah, this would have been no big deal back in the day. Like, we're talking about, like, the Jordan rules, the style of basketball in the 80s and 90s. A lot of the stuff that Draymond does would have just been seen as just another incident for Draymond Green.
I know, that's all very true. Hey, by the way, listen, we appreciate all our callers, but I just want to say that, Connor was particularly chill. And 510 gets the text of the day, said, Connor sounded like he was talking to Jake from State Farm. That's pretty good text there, buddy. Pretty good text.
Yeah, I've been smoking some pot.
I think that's it. We're going to draw the curtain on the big hit, asking the existential question, can a person change? And we're just going to watch it unfold before our eyes. I am going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm a Warrior fan, and Draymond has done so much. I am not happy. And I've written about it and we talked about it. I'm not happy, but I'm going to welcome him back and give him the benefit of the doubt. Probably more so than some of you all. Some of you all are sick of him. I'm giving him a little wider berth. But believe me, we're watching. We got eyes. We got eyes. All right. Thank you guys for your calls on the big hit. Cooler of content's always fun and funny. Next on KMBR 104.5 and 6.